In this last video for Unit 4, Learning Set 4, we're going to look at how the insurance lists the amounts that they will cover when you are involved in an automobile accident. So bodily injury and property damage are things that you are responsible for paying for, including medical expenses of anyone injured in the accident. And it's written using this number systems with slashes. And this number system is not $100, $300. It actually represents thousands. So the first one, 100, would actually be 100,000. And this is the maximum amount paid to any one person who is hurt and sues you per accident. So if you have a person that charges you 120,000 or sues you for 120,000, the company will only pay 100,000. You would be responsible for the the other 20,000. Okay, so that would be the company, and this would be what you would be responsible for. And there is an overall amount. So you can't have an accident and say 6 people get injured, each of them get 100,000. The insurance company's not going to pay that much. It's going to have a maximum amount that it pays to all people. So this is the maximum amount paid to all people who were hurt or injured. So 300, knowing that it's listed by 1,000s, would be 300,000. Just to clarify this to make sure, that's basically taking 300 times 1,000, and that gives you 300,000 if you multiply it out. They just do it so that it's not such a long or bigger number. And the last amount, 25, is 25,000, and that is actually going to cover property damage, and that would be the maximum amount that they would pay in property damage. So say you damaged another person's car and there's 20,000 in damage, it will cover it. Say you get in a multi-car accident and you cause 20,000 damage to both cars, it will only pay 25,000 out of the 40,000. You would have to pay the other 15,000. So let's look at some examples of this. So Bob was in an auto accident caused by his negligence. So this was his fault. So he was at fault, so that means he is going to have to pay damages. He has 100, 300 bodily injury. So that means this would be 100,000, and that would be per person. And he also has 300,000 would be the maximum paid. Okay, so the 3 people injured in the accident sued. One person was awarded 140,000. And each of the other 2 was awarded 75,000. How much does the insurance company pay? So the first thing we need to figure out is what was the total amount awarded. So we would need to then take the 140,000 and the 2 75,000s, and you add them all together, and that means it's a total of 290,000. So this is where we need to break things down. First off, this 290,000 is lower than the max of 300,000. So that's not a problem. The next thing we need to think of is the insurance company will only cover 100,000 per person. So that means this first person, they're only going to cover 100 of that 140,000. And they will cover each of the 75,000s. So the total that the insurance company will pay is 250,000. That leaves, when you look at it, that 290,000 that leaves $40,000 that the insurance company is not paying. So what this end result is the insurance company is going to cover $250,000. Bob is going to have to cover the other $40,000 that the insurance company will not cover. Okay, so Desmond has a policy with 50/150 BI bodily injury, 50,000 for property damage, and 50,000 personal injury protection. So he causes an accident in which he hurts 7 people in a minivan and 4 people in his own car, including himself. So the 11 people who are hurt have minor injuries and do not sue Desmond. The total medical bill for all involved is $53,233. Now, Desmond himself is covered by the personal injury protection. So that means that this personal injury protection covers Desmond. And the company will pay the entire $53,233 as long as no individual person requests more than $50,000. So going back to this top part, we know that 50 means 50,000 per person, and the 150,000 max. Okay, so this $53,233 is less than the max of 150,000. And they didn't give us information on each individual person. So as far as we know, each person has to be less than 50,000 to be fully covered.